The music video for the Demons of the Shadow Realm second opening just dropped. So let's check that out. It's called Back Shot by Otoda Masanori. Okay, that scene is pretty cool, so we don't have to talk about the contrast again. We have this classic dark blue wet contrast to have a really strong difference between these two colors, and the keyhole that is framing this dancing character. But she's super blurry and we can only actually really see a few details with this saturated blue, but the rest is almost completely white. And that's also, again, with this red, a really strong contrast. But I really like this choreography when she's shooting to the viewer. That was really simplistic made, so here we can see how long this one drawing actually stands for, maybe a second even. But we don't need more. We have the movement and that's all. This is some crazy haunted house settings, but I really like this contrast again with having everything green when the lightning strikes. Actually has some He-Man vibes. This really reminds me on Castle Grayskull from He-Man, especially with these colors, with this violet and green. This opening also has some similar vibe from the legendary Hero is Dead. Again with this purple-green contrast. Also this 80s, 90s text. This really has some similar vibes, but this is of course way more cartoony. This is a cool picture because it really describes the whole thing. So this guy probably lost his wife, or at least he's missing her. And here we have this long table with 2 seats and he's sitting here alone, while we have this nice contrast with the candles in the middle as a focus point, and the red around it is here the strongest, while it's fading more into a black in the background. And all of this is colored in this blue-red color palette. The only thing is, of course, the white parts and the yellow parts of the candle. Some cool little effect animation for the candle, but this is extremely stylized. So I think we didn't even watch the video that is as stylized as this one. And now we are switching to a almost complete bluish colored scene. Like before, everything was more reddish. So maybe this is the thing that here as well, when Dracula is alone, then he has this blue covered in the background, and this is probably also him, or is this antagonist from earlier that we saw here? No, we didn't saw an antagonist yet. This is only a statue. And not only the whole scenery changed in this scene, but also the music, how he's singing. This is completely different. Ah, it's the woman from the beginning who's dancing. And here we are having the keyhole again, but this time it's really the blue color. So as I thought, the red color stands for the woman and the blue color stands for the man. Nice red now in the background. So here we can really focus on the silhouettes. So the animation has to be on point and has to be clear now. Yeah. This is actually the same dance as we saw in the beginning. So they are both dancing the same dance. And as I said, this is the most fundamental thing, that you need to have a clear silhouette, especially in dance scenes, to understand what's going on. And here they nailed it, especially because of the stylization. And now it's going down to the normal village. And here we're having a complete color switch to more toned down colors, like really not that saturated. Before, everything was super saturated, full of contrasts, like this blue and orange contrast together with this violet. And now we are having more of an almost sad village that is completely destroyed. Like here we can see everything is nailed down and is broken. It's almost falling apart. And the nature is already coming back. Here we have the good old tumbleweed that is showing us that this is a ghost town. Okay, interesting character design. Kind of has something like American cartoons like Ren and Stimpy is. Ah, okay, and from a story perspective, this magician or this fortune teller is trying to get the people forming a big mob and attacking the castle. So this is the classic let's defeat the monsters in the castle story. And again, strong contrast with also these dark shadows. We're not having a darker blue or something, we're going completely straight to the black. Classic picture with the glowing red eyes. We need someone with a fire. Here we are having the pitchfork. I love these things. But I really like the movement of, for example, this guy here, how he's moving from one side to another and not only moving up and down like these ones. I think that one gives way more dynamic into the whole scene. Maybe he's drunk. Also, his eyes are not as convincing as for this person. I think it's actually funny that they all have different eyes. Although we only see their silhouettes, with these different eye shapes, they all have different personalities. That's a lot of people. Oh, now we are having a really expressionistic picture here. Like this is almost like a painting with these color gradients from one color to another, and this strong green as highlight is looking really interesting. But I think it's funny that it's so much in contrast with this really stylized cartoon style. And that makes this whole thing super interesting, but also frames this window really well, because it almost looks like two different worlds. Just opening the door real quick. This is completely full of contrasts, really cool, and I like it. Just look at these faces when they don't know what's going on here, because this guy is just starting to dance and they probably expected something more terrifying. With these red impact frames that actually are guiding the eyes from this side to the next one. When we are following these strokes, we are directly in this area. Okay, that's some interesting effect animation, because this is way more detailed as I would imagine it. I would imagine when you're going for such a cartoony style that you just use some big flocks of blood. Almost looks like a picture by Jackson Pollock. Okay, but he's killing them with his dance. How the heads are lifting off the neck, that looks super funny. But here again we see a really nice spacing, because look how much room there is between these two frames. That's smart to have like a big space in between so that the movement is way more expressive. You can see it easier, and it of course is also way faster. And he's super scared now. Ah, I see. So it was the fortune teller who was killing him with his magic. Let's watch this magic again. Yeah, these are some cool magic balls, how they are getting bigger, moving a little bit. And here we can also see really simplistic animation. We don't need that much of movement. This magician is standing for the whole scene like that. He is not moving at any point. Like, this is every time the same picture, only with his hand moving a little bit like that. That's it. And then, of course, really strong changing this scene from a white background to a red one that shows, okay, something terrifying is happening. And we're having with that this kind of impact frame vibe. Okay, why is the wing now changing from a blue color to a red color? Again, really cool effect animation that is like this whirlwind over this body. It's her all along. Okay, so this old hag is his lost wife, and through this power she gained back her youth. These are some cool frames when you see them dancing in each other's shadow. Really stylistic again. But smart to animate this once for every character and then just using it multiple times and putting each over each other and putting it along to each other. Smart way to minimize the effort of animation and to have a cool project at the end. Here we can see a picture of both together. Cool animation. Something completely different than, for example, Eve videos, which are leaning way more to the anime style, and this is way more reminiscent to something like Western animation. I also think about The Last Unicorn, for example, when I look at this character design of the old fortune teller. So that was something completely different than what we are watching usually. And if you want to see more, then check out my other reactions. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel here. Then I will see you at the next video. Bye!